Hello, YouTube. This is Omar once again with another knife discussion. And I wanted to talk about, or continue my discussion when I was talking about yesterday. I went about it wrong, and I probably angered a lot of people, so I want to apologize for that. But, I'm a knife guy. I'm very passionate about knives in general. I'm sure you guys are too. But anyway, yesterday I talked about Kershaw and ZT developing a midline production of knives. And because, Kershaw and ZT I believe has a gap that's missing in what they offer us. Because Kershaw has high quality, low budget knives, and ZT has high quality, supreme knives. I guess that's the right word. And they are both excellent at what they do. But there's a third category I think that should be in either ZT or Kershaw, and this is where I want what you guys think about this. When you go to any Kershaw site, all right, you go to a Kershaw site, they got, like I said yesterday, they have tons and tons of designs, mostly low-budget steel, mostly Mauve 13, which I think is fine. Maybe one or two Sandvik, maybe, something somewhere in there. You'll see Sandvik in there a little bit, but nothing above that. And every once in a while, they'll release something special, maybe something an M390, which is what this knife is. But so let me give you guys a little bit more input of what I'm talking about. This is a Kershaw Link. Okay, this knife normally comes in grayscale, right? Grayscale with 420 HC steel. Okay. This knife goes for roughly, I believe it's $79.99 or $71. I'm sorry, about $71 for the 420 HC one. This one is the M390 version. It also goes for right around, well, now it's no longer running, but it goes for right around 70. It went for around $71 when it was running. They've since discontinued. I think you can still get it, but it's getting harder and harder to find. It's a sprint run. But for all intents and purposes, let's say this is the 420 HC version. You're buying the knife for $71, which is a good buy, right? It's a good knife. The quality of the knife is excellent. All aluminum scales. It's a little bit more than what you need, which is fine. Aluminum scales, fantastic for everyday use. This knife represents what someone would be carrying in their pocket for everyday use, and they probably would be using it to, open up cardboard boxes, probably use it as an office knife or whatever it is they'd have to do throughout the day. This would serve that purpose, right? That would serve that purpose. Way over here, we got the ZT 801 black wash in LMAX steel. Now, this is more of a heavy-duty knife, much more heavy-duty. It's a super steel blade. And this knife would cost you roughly about $200. So Kershaw, or ZT, however you want to call it, has available for you, if you went online, you can buy either a $71 knife, quality like this, or bump up all the way over to possibly spending right around $200 for a Supreme knife with super steel. It's got great action, runs on ball bearings, it's got all the stuff you'd want in a knife, right? And you're happy with that. As I said yesterday, here's the problem. Knives like this, they've got... I'm going to move this out of the way. Maybe I should have put that in. I'll move that out of the way. Knives like this, they've got tons of steels, tons of variety. I mean, they have tons of variety, not enough steel. Tons of variety, not enough steel. Here, and awesome quality, incredible quality, lots of styles, lots of flavors, but not enough steels. Here, you've got the quality and the price, but not enough knives. I mean, if you go to a ZT website, there's maybe only, less than 20 knives up on the ZT website, and all the knives ZT has, all of them are above 150. In fact, I believe 150 may be the cheapest you can get on ZT, which would be probably the Ken Onion knives, the 350 series. So those are your choices with Kershaw and ZT. But is that really enough for you? I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if that's enough. I mean, it's not really enough for me, because if I go to Kershaw, they got tons of designs, and all they have is Mauve 13, 420HC, possibly Sandvik if you're lucky, mid-range steel, low-grade steel. But you can't knock it because the quality is there. It's fantastic quality, but I want something more. So now, if I want something more, I have to automatically go over here where my knives can be upgraded, but I don't have a lot of choices. Which brings me to, how about the idea of this, guys? What if Kershaw had a third company? Let's pretend this is the third company right here. And they gave me this. Okay, gave me this. This is the Kershaw Boa. This knife is long since discontinued. And this kind of serves as my point. Before ZT existed, you could get this knife, okay, at Kershaw. Kershaw would give you this. If you wanted a Mauve 13 knife or something right around $71 or lower, maybe like a $34.99 knife, you can get that. But at the time, 10 years ago, if you said to yourself, well, I want something a little bit more than that, do you have something in S30V? Yeah, we do. We have the Kershaw Boa. We got this knife. Not only did they have this knife 10 years ago, they also had, you know, more knives. Now they had other knives with the steels that came in this quality. Now this knife is roughly anywhere between $89.99 and $119 for this knife at the time. So anywhere between $89.99 and $119 for the Kershaw Boa. Now, let me tell you let me show you what you get here for $119. You get all aluminum scales. It's a spring assist. You get the quality, just like you were to get in a low range, low graded Kershaw link, let's say, with 420 HC steel. Here you get the same thing, but they bumped up the steel. The steel is now S30V. Same quality S30V. And they didn't change anything. So 10 years ago, I was able to get this if I wanted to. But if I wanted to spend a little bit more money, they would allow me to buy something like this. So what happened? Okay, it's now 2012. Slowly, these knives like this, let's say the Kershaw Rake is a good example. That went away. The Kershaw Junkyard Dog went away. These are all mid-range knives that were a little bit more than, say, $40, but they had the good quality, but they also had the steel. So they satisfied you there. They satisfied... I guess the point that I'm making here is that they satisfied the low-end guy that just wanted a really good knife, and they also satisfied someone that was looking for something more, but they weren't quite ready to spend $200 for a ZT. So that's what Kershaw had. So when 2012 rolled around, Kershaw took a look at their marketing, and they said, you know what? We're doing really well over here at Kershaw. We're making really good stuff, really good knives. People seem to like our stuff. Why don't we create Why don't we create a premium knife company that's still like Kershaw, but more higher end? So they did. They came up with ZT. So where are we now with Kershaw and ZT as far as what they offer? We've got really high-end knives, and then we've also got lots of really low-end knives, right? Lots of low-end knives. But then, if you noticed, over the years, very slowly, knives like this began disappearing from the Kershaw lineup. And I can't help but wonder why that is. Why did that happen? You don't get S30V anymore. You could have gotten the Camber if you were lucky, which was a limited edition run. That was in S30V steel, and they got rid of that. Every once in a blue moon, Kershaw will put out a leak in S30V. They'll put out a blur in S30V or some other, maybe one high-graded steel, and then you wouldn't see it in any other knife anymore. They're not producing new knives with S30V steel on it. They're not using Sandvik anymore. They're not using any of the steels that are a little bit better than 420HC, that are a little bit better than Mauve 13, that are a little bit better than, you know, the low-graded steels. So basically what Kershaw has done now is they have pumped up all of their low-end knives. If you go and you look at the 2018 SHOT Show for Kershaw today, you will see a ton of low-budget knives with fantastic designs, all released in either 420HC steel or Mauve 13. But you don't see anything above that. You don't see Sandvik anymore. There's no S30V. There's nothing. It's just that. That's all. So they've now limited the steels, but you're still getting the same quality and the same design. You're still getting the same quality, great design, all that's still there. Meanwhile, over here at ZT, they're slowly pumping out new knives. In fact, ZT SHOT Show 2018. They only put out three knives. I'm sure they're going to put out maybe 3. I guarantee when SHOT Show rolls around for the summer, they'll probably have, I'm going to say probably 4 more to add to their lineup. And I guess my question is that enough for you? Because it's not really enough for me. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not happy with with what Kershaw and ZT's doing, but I don't go here anymore for my knives unless it's something special like this Kershaw Dividend and M390 steel for $71. That's a deal. I'll go for that. I think that's kind of cool. Plus, it's a collectible, so I'd go for that knife. But I'm not really going to go for like a Mauve 13 knife or 420HC steel anymore when my buying habits have changed. You know, and the problem here is I don't always have $150 and over, or $200 and over to spend on a knife all the time. And I'm dying to get all ZTs. I would love to have all the ZTs, but I can't afford it. I've only got 3 of these. But you know what? If Kershaw would bring back some of these guys, these knives that were like 119, 109, $109, you could push me to buy that. I'll buy it. I guess that's my point, is this over here, the Kershaw, the low-end stuff, no longer interests me. I'm not interested. I love your designs. I think they're fantastic. Maybe if I'm kind of like in a, like in a fun mood, just for fun, I'll buy a low-budget knife. But it's not something that really interests me anymore. But yet, as a knife buyer, you've got me salivating over here, over the 3, let's say the 3 brand new knives that you got. But they're just way too expensive for me right now, and I have to wait to get them. But here's the problem. I got money in my pocket, right? I've got money in my pocket to buy something like this. $119, $89.99, $119, even $125. I got money for that. I don't have $200 right now. I'm not comfortable with that, but I'm comfortable here. So I guess what I'm saying is, maybe Kershaw or ZT should do one of two things. Either Kershaw comes back and brings back a midline with Sandvik, maybe bring back a few composite blades. You could do a bunch of composite blades for like, you know, $119, you know, $129.99, even $135.99, even $140. We could do that. It's not 200 over here, right? It's not $200, but it's still somewhat affordable, and you could get me salivating at that with like a bunch of composite blades, maybe some really cool Sandviks with really cool designs, and split up Kershaw into a midline bunch of knives, and go ahead and keep your budget line. I'm not saying get rid of that. Go ahead and keep it, but give us a little bit more in the mid-range. You'll have the guys that are sitting here waiting to get a ZT because they don't have the money for it. Instead of waiting to buy a ZT, they'll go over here and buy your midline knife and come back and get a new ZT, you know, at another time. You know they're going to buy it because we're not going anywhere. We love your stuff. We're not going anywhere, but we're kind of hungry for something more than this, but not quite this. So that's what this discussion is about. So I guess what I'm saying is Kershaw or ZT, whichever one, should either come up with a third company to fill in this gap so we can get some S30V back, get some Sandviks, get some mid-range steels that that you used to have that you no longer have anymore. Do some composite blades. I don't know. People get hungry for composite blades. I love them. Maybe we can have some CPM 154 in there. Create a line of that. You could make S30V CPM 154, Sandvik. You could make that your mid-grade line, and bump up the price from your average, say $40 knives to like $80 knives. Bump it up to like $89.99, $90 to like $140. So you need like a $90 line to $140 knives, and we'll sit there and we'll get S30V. We'll sit there, we'll get CPM 154. We'll do some D2 in there, and go ahead, create a whole new line with all new designs. We'll go nuts for that. And then Kershaw will outsell all the other companies. And if they did that, if Kershaw did that, or Kai did that, I guess, we'd be in some fantastic business. Because if they did that, knowing the reputation that Kershaw, ZT, or I guess I should say Kai, USA Limited has, they're going to blow the competition away. Easy. If they did that, you guys would be on top, no problem. The competition would just be gone. And what competition is that? Check it out, guys. Kaiser. Kaiser is an up-and-coming company. They fill the gap, in my opinion, that Kershaw and ZT doesn't fill. And I think Kaiser has some really fantastic knives, but it's, and for the most part, I'm going to be honest with you, I'd rather buy, I'll buy made in the USA first any day of the week. I'll buy made in the USA. I'll buy a Kershaw and a ZT first before I hit a Kaiser knife. Okay, but the reason that I'm going to Kershaw, and some guys are going to Kershaw probably, is because you're not giving us the steels for the price that we can afford, that we want to spend sometimes. What you need to do, I think, is blow Kaiser away. And this is a really great knife. This is, here's what I'd like to get to. This is this is the Kaiser Sliver. Okay, this knife is S35VN steel. Okay. It's all aluminum scales. And it's considered one of their premium knives. And that's $71. $71, just like the Kershaw M390 Link. But guess what? This knife here is special. This is not going to stick around forever. You know what I mean? So they'll salivate us every once in a while and give us one of these. And then they'll cut us off. You know, like drug addicts. They'll cut us off, and then we don't get this anymore, and that's the end of that, right? You don't see it anymore, no more. So what happens is you've left something, you've left a gap for us, and we don't get this. We're left with nothing. So what do? We go over to Kaiser and have them fill in the gap that ZT doesn't or Kershaw doesn't, and we're satisfied. Is there anything wrong with that? No, but as a knife fan, I would much rather see. I would much rather have these guys be blown away. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I love Kaiser. I think they're a fantastic company, but I would, because they're a smaller company, they're up and coming, so I'm applauding them and I wish them all the best of luck, and I'll continue to buy their knives. But I really, because I'm a fan of Kershaw, I really want to see them bring this stuff back, the S30V, and then go ahead and have your low budget end. So now we've got the low budget end, we've got a midline, and we got your high premium ZT. And I think that's what Kershaw needs to go back to. Because otherwise, you're leaving room for Kaiser to get really big. Maybe one day Kershaw will realize, why is Kaiser selling so many knives? You know, well, they're selling so many knives because at the time, people wanted to spend like $90 for a knife with a S35VN steel. Kershaw didn't have it, and ZT didn't have it. And I think that's my point. So, any thoughts or comments on this particular video? I'm real interested to hear what you guys have to say. If my camera was kind of shaky, I apologize. You know, I'm trying to work on that. But I just think they need to have some middle of the road knives to get people salivating. And I challenge any. I don't challenge, but I would love for any of you guys to go and look at a Kershaw website and see how many midline knives they have. See how many Mo 13 blades they've got out. Do you see any knives there that are in the price range of, like $90 with the steel that you want? You don't see, like I said, you don't see any Sandvik anymore. You don't see any D2 anymore. You don't see CPM 154 isn't in there. I don't really see that stuff anymore. It's not there. And ZT isn't actually filling in that gap. They're not really doing that. It's like they've just abandoned those steels. And I think those are steels that people may still want to see. You want to see a midline graded steel. Either that or maybe start offering an aluminum line of S35VN steels, because if Kaiser can do it, and they don't make anywhere near the money that Kershaw makes. If Kaiser can do it, I just want to know why can't Kershaw or ZT do that, and keep us coming back for more that way. All right, well, I let this video go on long, but I wasn't. At least I wasn't angry like I was in my last video. So I'd love to hear from you. I don't have very many subscribers. I only have one. The Night Beater. So again, I want to thank him once again for helping me out. Again, my name is Omar, the Knife Shark. I do videos, two types of videos. I do knife discussions, and I do knife reviews on all my Kershaw discontinued knives, like my Kershaw Boa. So if any of you guys are into collecting collecting knives, you're not quite sure what to collect, take a look and see what Kershaw had 10 years ago. That's what my channel is about. The Kershaw of old and what they used to have. Because I was a real fan of that. I've got 28 of their knives, soon to be 29 of their knives. Excuse me, soon to be 30. I'm real excited. I'll be getting a Kershaw titanium bump reel soon. I can't wait to get that one. And I'll be doing a review on that, as well as my other 30 discontinued Kershaw knives. So I'm going to let you guys go because this video has ran long again. Once again, this is Omar, the Knife Shark. And again, give me your thoughts, your comments on my discussion today about Kershaw. Really would appreciate any input you have. I hope I didn't make anybody angry. I was just voicing my opinion. I am a knife person, and I'm very, very passionate about my knives, as are you. So, until next time, guys, this is Omar, the Knife Shark. Happy knife hunting, everybody. Hope you find every knife you desire. Over and out. Thank you.